Hey guys, so something that I'm going to talk about today is like how you kind of know when you've outgrown a type of mindset, a situation, a group, whatever. I feel like there's a deep inner knowing when you know that you're just outgrowing an environment, right? And the signs may start off like you just don't feel like doing the same things that you used to do anymore, or like going the same places. You just feel so out of place. You start to feel extremely exhausted and tired, like you just run down, kind of. And you can look well put together, but your spirit, you just feel like you dragging your feet. Another thing is like you will find yourself like being places with certain people, and you can even be in a relationship. Like you could literally just be in certain environments and you feel like you just feel out of place. Like it just feels like something is missing. And that is like a clear indication that you have some healing work to do, that you're ready to grow, you're ready to evolve, like regardless of what your journey is, right? Because not everybody is meant to walk a spiritual path, but I feel like everybody is meant to be enlightened in some sort of way in their life. And that enlightenment is going to come through their healing, right? And I feel like there's like two types of people in this world, right? Who gets, like, to me, like how I see it, it's like you could either get pushed or forced into this awakening, enlightenment, and in a position where you have to like you have no choice but to, it's like your back is against the wall. And I feel like that comes with death, real heavy traumatic situations. In most cases, is death, right? But then a there's a different type of people, right? Where they're mature, they are wise, they've always been like that since a kid, and they know how to like fit in different groups with people that kind of like feed the different parts of themselves. And then it gets to a point in their life where they know that they have to do some healing work. Like, I don't know, like for me, I knew I was on some bullshit. When I was on some bullshit, I knew I was on some bullshit, and I had to be like, all right, I gotta be a big girl. And another thing is too, having a kid. I will say that that kind of like triggers things too, because like having a kid can make you just want to do better, because you realize like, damn, I'm really about to be somebody's example. It's different when you the auntie. When you auntie, when you unc, you give them kids back, you get to, you represent for those moments that you with them, and then you go back to whatever is it that you was doing. But when you become somebody's, like when somebody is looking up to you constantly, it's like you, something happens inside of you where you say like, I can't do the same things that I used to do anymore. And I feel like this, as I was saying, like I knew I knew that I had to heal. I knew that there were things that I was carrying from one relationship to the next relationship to the next relationship. And it was even bigger than the relationships that I was in. I knew that I was carrying a lot of baggage and anger from my inner child. And I would smoke. I was a heavy smoker, and I would just smoke it away and just be numb so that I could just, kind of float through life, so that I don't have to be so consumed by my pain and my darkness, right? Because I feel like, at a point in time in my life, it did serve its benefit for me. And that's just in my opinion, because some things that people go through, and I just feel like this is like for a certain selective of people who has been constantly going through traumatic things for as long as they can remember, you have a different type of strength that's just inside of you, and nobody is not going to understand. The only people who understand is people who been like that. But anyway, I feel like it gets to a point in your journey where you got to do the work. You know that you got to heal, because you'll say it like, I know, yeah, I got to heal. And then you'll say it, but it's like deep down inside, you kind of don't want to do it, because you know that when you start healing yourself, you're not going to want to be around the same people. You're going to outgrow your environments. your relationship. It's the harsh reality that when you sit down and do the work, it's not going to be pretty, and you're gonna have to leave people behind. And that is what really would stop you from doing the work. And then you get to a point in the journey where you're like trying to, you want the people that you love to do the work with you, in a sense, like, because you know that when you evolve and once you get to that next level, they're not even going to be able to catch up. It's like a lost cause. And that be the reason, like, I truly feel like, and let me tell you something, I really feel this strongly more for men. I've noticed that, like, there's guys that know what they need to do, but they don't want to do it because it means that they're going to have to start over. And I can honestly say that certain men have a different type of concept when it comes to friendships and relationships and things like that, where they like, I'm going to stay down with the people that I came up with. And that type of mentality is what stops them from doing the actual healing work that they need to do. And then sometimes they get forced and they have no other choice but to sit and do the healing work because they're backed in a corner. And God made it that way because it's like, you are, especially when you are the male, or even if this is a female, I'm interchanging on the genders, but like when you are the person that is chosen from your bloodline to do something big, and you're meant to be a leader, and you are meant to create change in this world on a certain type of level, or you're just someone that has a lot of impact and influence and you just have it naturally, is because you're called to do certain things. And yeah, like, I've seen it, I've been through it myself, and it's one of the hardest things to do. And that's why, like, healing is not for everybody. Some people will just decide to just like stay stuck on the things that they've been through, or they'll be backed in a corner because they have no choice but to do it, because it's a reason that's outside of themselves. So yeah, everybody may not understand what I'm saying, but the ones who get it. And like I said, like, you could run but you can't hide. When you got to do work, when you're put here to do work, you're gonna have to, like, you got to take some L's. You might have to, and the L's are not bad. You may lose some people, but you learn some lessons. But you gotta choose what's more important, what's more valuable. And if you really about that, like, are you really about walking in your purpose? Are you really about getting to your highest and best self? Are you really about getting to that next level? Because if you are, you gonna have no choice but to sit down and do that work. So yeah, that was just a random thing that was on my mind, but it's just like, yeah, this shit is not easy, and it's not for everybody, and it's not for the weak. But the people who may try to avoid the job the most are the ones that have to do it because they're called to do something and be something bigger. So yeah, I just wanted to share that. Anyways, bye.